This morning, I take all good men somewhat to task for not doing their job as teacher and leader to their less aware brothers, who I usually refer to as average men. During my early morning walk today, I was feeling very joyful and happy, noticing the flowers and the blue sky and the greenery on the golf course. I was feeling completely peaceful and happy. And approaching me on the sidewalk was a construction worker, a tall man, and an overgrown bush had narrowed the sidewalk just at the point where we would pass each other, forcing us to be very, very close. As he got closer, I noticed that my peaceful feeling melted somewhat, and without any conscious intent, my arms rose up to protect my chest. And I suddenly remembered something that I had not thought of in years. When I was a young girl, starting maybe about 12 when I developed breasts and continuing through my 20s, it would happen, not infrequently, when I was walking on the sidewalk, that a male approaching me would suddenly reach out and very roughly grab my breast and then quickly let go and keep walking. This happened many dozens of times when I was a young girl and a young woman. It was always young boys or young men from about 12 to mid-20s. And the worst was when they were on a bicycle, because then they were moving a lot faster and their grabbing me always really, really hurt. Then they would, speed away, sometimes laughing gleefully, sometimes not. This stopped happening to me somewhere in my late 20s to early 30s. And I forgot about these many assaults, because that's what they were, that I experienced at the hands of young men. But obviously, something in my body remembered, because 50 years later, this morning, when I had to pass really closely by this man, my whole body reacted. Now, he said a polite good morning and passed me by without incident. There was no grabbing. But that's not the point. The point is my body remembered to be afraid of a male passing me on the street. I've obviously carried that memory in my body for 50 years, and I am a very typical woman. If that happened to me, then obviously it has happened to many females of my generation, and perhaps even continuing to today. I don't know. I know, not all men. We always say that, of course. Most of you listening to this would never do such a thing. But isn't it interesting that we always say that, not all men, and yet millions of average men are still abusing in countless ways millions of women all over the planet right now, from husbands beating wives, in a private home, to the public sphere, legislators controlling our female lives and bodies. So it is not all men, but it's a damn lot of you. And you, good men, aware men, who would never do such a thing, it is your responsibility not to remain silent, but to speak out about this, to teach and guide and lead all your average men, sons and brothers, co-workers, your legislators, to teach them that the time for men abusing women, that the time for men controlling women must now be at an end. This is your male responsibility to life, to the life you have been given by women. As a group, women are responsible for gestating, birthing, and nursing life, and then leading that life with a good vision. And as a group, men's part, your part, is defending, protecting, and supporting life, that life that you were given by a woman. And promoting that good vision. And you can start by sharing how you feel about all of this with your women friends, your women coworkers, your women colleagues. Because I have many good men in my life, very good men I love, good friends, but most of them are totally silent on these matters. Out of all the many men I know, there are only 3 men in my life who I ever hear speak out about these matters, about the abuse of women, to either me or to anyone else I know, to on Facebook, in whatever form. And there are only 3 men I know who share ideas about how we can evolve past this, all of us together. I don't believe that it is any individual's responsibility to entirely fix the world. That's a pretty big job. But it is our responsibility, each of us, woman and man, to be as conscious as we can, to continue growing in consciousness, and to speak out where we can for life, for women, for children, for animals, for Mother Earth. This is our duty to say thank you for the life that we have been given. So sure, maybe you would never grab a woman's breast on the street. I certainly hope not. But are you sure your 13-year-old son has never done this? Are you sure? Have you talked with him? Because the average age now for young boys to start watching gonzo porn, and you know what that is. That's the kind of porn that is so common today that shows the brutal abuse and humiliation of women as just part of normal sex. That starts at 11 years old. So do you think that all those 11-year-olds are learning respect for women from that porn on their computer? Well, you know they are not. So have you taught your son to respect women? To respect them even no matter what the women and girls themselves are doing, because some females, particularly young girls who are inexperienced and very confused by our dominator model, patriarchal, messed up world, they behave in ways that show that they do not respect themselves. And this does not give your son license to also disrespect her. When he sees something harmful happening to a female, like an unconscious girl being raped at a frat party, you should have already trained him that it is his job to step in and help her, not join in, to defend and protect and support life. That is a man's job. If you, the few aware men of the world, if all of you were doing your job better, a lot fewer of your average men, brothers, and friends would be doing the terrible things that millions of men are doing to millions of women right now. Grabbing them by the pussy, grabbing them by the breast. Our president. It's mind-boggling. So if more of you were speaking out, more of you good men were speaking out, a lot less of this would be happening. You know all the things that are happening to women. I'm not going to list them for you. You know what they are. So please, let us women hear from you good men. Let us know that you're with us, that you care about this, because I assure you, your silence is quite deafening. And we can't know you're with us unless we hear it, unless we see it, unless we feel it. I think part of what happens is that good men are rightfully very ashamed of what so many millions of their brothers are doing to women and to life right now. And most humans, when ashamed, tend to go silent. But that is no longer good enough. Get past your shame, get past your horror of what males are doing on this planet, and speak up, because we need your voices. In the history of humans' many creative ways of oppressing each other, there have only been two ways that the oppression ended. One, the oppressed group rose up en masse and killed virtually all the oppressors. Well, I suppose that is one solution. Two, a small number of the oppressor group saw the light and decided that they wouldn't be oppressors anymore, and against their class joined in the effort to end the oppression. They worked to enlighten those who still didn't get it. So I don't think the first, women rising up and killing all men, is really going to be the answer. First of all, every single one of you is a son to one of us. We birthed every single one of you. And we women love our children, even when some of you grow up to abuse us. So it has to be number two. An initially small number of you men, aware men, those of you who have already decided that you cannot be part of the general misogyny of our culture any longer, you must join in our effort to free ourselves from patriarchy. You must work to enlighten your brothers who still don't get it. You must teach your sons how to live well on earth, in peace, in harmony, and with respect for all life, the life that some woman gave you. So I call upon you good men to think about how you can defend and protect and support life more than perhaps you currently do. How you can more greatly accept this responsibility in hand with good women. Because I believe working together, we can get this fixed. A few of you are activists, men like the very good men, the aware men who have joined our Museum of Woman and support what we are doing. Thank you. Bless you. We wish there were more of you. Please let there be more of you. And for those of you who are doing very little, I ask you, what are you doing today? What are you doing this week? What are you doing this month? What are you doing this lifetime? What are you doing to defend and protect and support all life on earth? Thank you for your attention. And men, when passing by a woman on the sidewalk, maybe, if she looks at all uncomfortable, perhaps say a very polite hello, maybe with your hands behind your back. Blessed be.